Hi everyone, this is Charity with Stamping with Charity, and today I am going to show you how to make this Christmas card using the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper and the Trimmings and Tidings and Trimmings polymer stamp set. Here is the Designer Series paper. To make this card, we are going to use a card base in soft succulent that is cut at 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4.25, which I've already went ahead and done. We need a piece of Designer Series paper that is 5 inches by 6 inches. So we're just going to cut an inch off, and that will give us our 5 by 6. And we'll save this little scrap. And then we're going to rotate our paper, and we need one that is 2.5 by 5. And then this one will be 3.5 by 5. We'll bring back in our card base, and we can figure out how we want this to lay on our cardstock. I personally like how this looks. You could, if you liked it better, you could flip it over your same size pieces and have a completely different look. I like to have the soft succulent larger pattern on the back and my bolder pattern on the front. I'm going to adhere this down using liquid Tombow, but you could adhere it down using your favorite adhesive. Any adhesive would work. And I am going to line it up with one edge and then make sure I'm evenly spaced, which is about 1/2 inch from the top and the bottom. My second piece, I'm going to do the same thing, add some liquid adhesive, and I'm going to line it up on the opposite edge, and again, make sure my spacing is equal. Next, you will need a piece of cherry cobbler that is cut at 2.5 inches wide, and it's 4.25 inches tall, because that's how wide your card is. You will need a piece of basic white that is cut at 2.25 inches long, or wide, sorry, and 4.25 inches long, again, because that's going to cover the entire card base. And then you need a piece of Designer Series paper. This is cut at 2.25 because that's how wide my basic white is. And I cut it at 2.25 tall. So we're going to layer this together. And again, you could use either side. I want my stripes to go this way. So I adhere my piece of Designer Series paper on here. And then I'm going to layer my basic white onto my piece of cherry cobbler and leave, it's about 1/8 of an inch on each side. Actually, it might be 1/4 inch on each side. Let's see, it's 1/8, I believe. Yep, 1/8 of an inch on each side. This will get adhered to the front of your card. Then I have went ahead already and cut out my star in Evening Evergreen, and then I used the Bedazzled glimmer paper that's from Celebration. Make sure that you put a piece of adhesive sheet on the back so then you have a sticker. And I've already went ahead and done that with this one. Another trick that I will show you after you get it placed on here, if you want to make sure that you have it adhered down, flip your image over and take a clear block and just rub on the image really good. And that will help it adhere well. This is going to get put on here, but before we do that, I want to take a piece of Misty Moonlight that I have, and this is just a scrap, a 1/2 inch by however long you want it, and I'm going to banner cut the end using the tailored tag punch. I'm going to do both ends. And I'm going to adhere that down using multi-purpose glue. This end is messed up, but it's not perfect, but it'll be hidden behind the star, so I'm not going to fix it. And we're going to put that on here like this. Then I took the Stitched So Sweetly dies. This is the one, this die, and it looks like this. I went and I cut it in half, and to do that I just put it on your paper trimmer, and there's it's about an inch on both sides, so if you just line it up so you have about the same spacing on your paper trimmer, and then you can go ahead and close your paper trimmer, and it'll hold it in place, and as you slide up you can cut it in half and you will have 2 equally sized pieces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to banner cut the end of this also. And this I have to be a little more precise because okay, you don't have to banner cut the other end because it's going to be hidden. And now we're going to take the cheers from Our Home to Yours, and I'm going to stamp it in Evening Evergreen. And since it's photopolymer, you can see where you're placing your sentiment. And then I'm going to pop that. Actually, I'm not going to pop that up. I'm going to glue this one up down just because I'm going to pop my star. So I'm going to put some liquid Tombow on the back of this. And adhere it where I want it. Now my star, I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. Which I need to grab a pack. And I'm going to place my star similar to this. Next, you could take some of the diamond, I don't know what they are called actually. Jewel Basics. They used to be. I know they still have them in the annual catalog. And we are going to place those in this white space up here. Then I also took a piece of cherry cobbler twine and basic white baker's twine. And I tied a bow. Just put the two of them together. And I like to tie my bow right off of the ribbon spool. That way I don't have a whole lot of waste. Banner, cut your ends. Or not banner, you know, cut your ends. We will take a glue dot. And I am going to put my little bow right here. I'm going to stick my glue dot down. And there you have it. For the inside, I am going to cut a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. And this scrap that we cut off the end, which was 1 inch by 6 inches long, I'm going to adhere that down here at the bottom. And then you have room for your sentiment. I like how that just brings everything together. Brings a little bit of the design from the front of the card to the inside. Don't forget that you could do the same with your designer series paper to the envelope. Cut a piece off that is 2 1/4 inches by 6 inches long. Or if you're like me, I cut it 2 by 6. That way I can get 3 pieces out of 1 piece of 6 by 6 designer series paper. And I just trim my envelope. I hope you like this card. Thanks for stopping by.